Move on to general public comment. If you'd like to provide general public comment to the commission, now's the time to come forward and do that.
Just wanted to make sure Patrick didn't miss anybody.
Hello, my name is Nick Simpson. I'm from Douglas County. Also, I just want to make a quick public comment because I have somewhere to be soon, but I know everyone else will speak on the agenda at the proper time. But I wanted to talk about the idea of means testing tenant right to counsel and how I think that is a bad idea to tie it to the federal poverty line. So I did some math. I sent in a written thing. So if we're conservatively...
We'll talk about tenant right to counsel in our regular agenda. This is time for items that aren't on the agenda.
Okay, then I will not be able to comment then.
Yeah,
but I have it submitted.
Yeah, we've gotten written comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need to read your thing?
What's that?
Do you need to read your thing?
I've already read it.
I didn't know. You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
My name is Dr. Justin Spees. On April 20th, 2022, I was unlawfully arrested in here by Sheriff Jay Armbrister and his deputies, Tyler Crutzel and Jimmy Wold, prior to the start of a Douglas County Commission meeting. I was charged with disorderly conduct, and that charge was later dismissed by the district attorney. In January 2024, I filed a lawsuit against Armbrister and Crutzel, this commission, and others for this arrest and other violations. And in February of 2025, the judge ruled that Armbrister and Crutzel do not have qualified immunity for the arrest because no probable cause existed that I had committed any crime. In August of 2025, both had depositions. In the depositions, some lies and omissions came out regarding the falsified probable cause affidavit and reports filed by Armbrister and Crutzel to quote unquote justify arresting me in here. And I want to go over some of those lies and omissions here. So, misstatements about meeting disruption, meeting delay claim. Affidavit and report assert that Dr. Spees delayed the meeting and that commissioners had to wait until he lowered his voice to start at 5:30 p.m. The meeting minutes show the meeting started on time at 5:30 p.m. when scheduled. Noisy conduct finding. The reports repeatedly state that Dr. Spees engaged in, quote, noisy conduct, but Crutzel admitted he was not actively listening and cannot pinpoint when any alleged violation occurred. Mischaracterization of conduct, the yelling narrative. Reports claim Spees, quote, began yelling comments about his freedom of speech and began yelling at another attendee. But Crutzel admitted he only heard one phrase, which was, I don't care what you think of me, motherfucker. And he could not hear normal volume conversations even 2 to 3 feet away, undercutting the claim that this was loud, meeting disruptive yelling. The profanity equals disorderly conduct claim. Reports assert that Dr. Spees' behavior was loud and profane, causing alarm, anger, or resentment, thus constituting disorderly conduct. However, Crutzel could not identify any person who was alarmed or threatened, and Armbrister testified Spees was not disturbing the peace by sitting quietly. That's a big lie right there. A big fuck. That's a life-altering lie right there. The fighting words allegation. Affidavit claims Dr. Spees used, quote, fighting words under KSA 21-6203A3, but no evidence shows an invitation to fight or words likely to provoke imminent violence. Asked versus ordered to leave claim. Affidavit says Crutzel and Armbrister asked him to leave, implying a lawful order, but Crutzel did not testify that an order was given. The crime determination. Crutzel claimed Dr. Spees committed disorderly conduct even though he testified he did not know when the offense occurred, never made that determination himself, and denied being the charging officer. Report authorship and motivation. Crutzel admits he wrote the report and affidavit not because of his independent belief, but because Sheriff Armbrister directed him to do so. Crutzel himself never saw Spees brandish or swing the sign that he was carrying, and no one reported an actual attempt to hit anyone, only speculative could have. Failure to interview attendees. Reports omit that not all witnesses were surveyed, excluding potentially favorable accounts. Video evidence ignored. Crutzel reviewed, man, there's so many of them I couldn't even get through them. There's still more of them, all these lies from you motherfuckers.
And all that is accurate. Everything he just said is accurate. Thank you to the two of you who have not engaged in this, but it's less of your doing and more of the fact that the courts have shut it down in here. The lawyer over here has learned that lesson. And I think Sarah's learned her lesson about lying in here to people. For those that aren't familiar with that. Sarah decided to start lying about who was allowed to cover from the media area over here and decided to try to exclude certain media. And you see the Journal World is sitting out here in the audience where they should be instead of getting preferential treatment up here. You're welcome, Lawrence. But the fact that you guys continued to push this all the way to the fact that federal lawsuits are being filed, your sheriff's qualified immunity's gone, you have deputies turning on your sheriff because they won't cover up for his lies. You'll notice something else. Miss Willie down there sits there quietly with a damn smile on her face now when we're talking. There's a reason for that as well, because she's learned to shut up and just listen to the people when they're speaking for 3 minutes. You're welcome, Lawrence. Patrick Kelly's learned to just sit there and shut up. He can stare all he wants, but it doesn't change anything. We have 3 minutes of rights to express up here, and there's not a damn thing he can do about it. And they are no longer going to tote his water and drag people out of here because he becomes offended. Yet on October 6th, Patrick is going to go to the library, and he's going to join Kelly Jones, the Chief Lockhart, Chief of Police, and Shannon. Who else is going to be there, Patrick? You're not sure, are you? But he's going to go in there and talk about how harmful these words are and how the rhetoric is just too horrible for him as a commissioner to deal with. You haven't stuck a single charge, not one. You cost your sheriff his qualified immunity. What else is next, Patrick? Last week, the reason, to let everybody know, the reason I came up here with my hand up wasn't to try to cut in front of anybody. It was because since I didn't move quick enough to get up here last week, Patrick decided he was just going to shut down public comment. You can see that on my channel as well. The only reason I'm back here, Patrick, is because you want to play games with the narrative. You want to go into the library and do this narrative. I hope it works out well for you, because it's working out pretty good for me right now. Because you guys and your fear, your unnatural fear of people's words, is making you really look like the pussies that you are. You can have your 15 seconds back.
Any other public comment?